Good morning and welcome back to My Life's Toil. I'm Neil. It is the 16th of August 2025. There's a bit of a hot topic to discuss today, which we will get onto. It sort of scuppered the plans a little bit for what I wanted to do because I don't want to make these videos too long that people just get bored sort of before halfway through. But there is a lot, and I've had a lot of messages about the latest news, of course, on the price hike in Mounjaro, which comes into play beginning of September. Now, that's only 2 weeks away. But also in today's edition, we will be drawing the competition for the exercise bands. And I've decided, because of the fantastic response I've had to doing this competition, we're going to give 2 sets away. So there will be 2 winners because I think it's just fairer to give 2 away. One person out of well over 100 entrants. It just didn't seem right to me, so I thought we make it 2 people that win. So we'll get to that at the end of this video. Also, obviously we'll be doing my weight update. Now, I won't be jabbing until tomorrow. So for those that want a little bit of support around doing the injection of the Mounjaro, I'll be doing a little quick video tomorrow on that. And the reason is because the suppression's really good. It was really late on Wednesday night that they did it, and I just want to make sure there's plenty of time because it's first thing on a Saturday morning here. I mean, it'd be fine, but I'm just going to give myself that little bit more space to do that. And I want to make this video as tight and compact as possible. But I'm also I promised I would do some updates on my measurements, which I did sort of start at the beginning with waist measurements and thigh measurements. It sort of dropped off a little bit purely because it was a little bit slow. So we'll do that as well. What else are we doing today? If I don't write it down, I'll forget, honestly. So yeah, weight update, measurements, but first of all, we're going to be talking about this price increase that everybody, obviously, that's in and around Mounjaro at the moment is really worried about. And I've sort of been looking around, and the hike on the prices that I've been looking at is quite considerable, isn't it? Reported as 170% increases, tends to be at the higher doses. But there's no definitive answer as to what that increase will be and what it entails and the reasons behind it. We already know what the reasons behind it are. Eli Lilly have been sort of, well, this is the main reason, pressured really by the US government to sort of make it more equal, because it's quite common knowledge that in the UK we actually get quite a good price on Mounjaro compared to what, for example, in the US you are paying over there. You're paying a lot more, and that there's a little bit of pressure coming to make it a bit more squarer. Now, the kind of thing to have done would have been actually to bring it down in America and other countries. Australia is another country where it's a lot more expensive, but over in the UK privately, I think we've been getting away with it for a little while. That said, they haven't decided on exactly what those increases are going to be, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen yet. So I'm not panicking just yet. I couldn't afford to continue for very long on Mounjaro if the increases were 170% where we are now. So it's a good idea now to start planning, not necessarily an exit plan or a life after Mounjaro plan just yet. But if you watch the channel regularly, I sort of not foresaw something like this, but just covered any eventualities about not being on or not being able to be on Mounjaro in the future. And I also always mention this, what I call the end game. And a lot of people were saying, oh, they'll always be on it as a maintenance dose. And my sort of comeback to that was, well, will we be able to be? And this is the sort of thing I was hinting at, because knowing a little bit about medicine and how it can go, because let's face it, Eli Lilly literally have the monopoly on Mounjaro and will on this type of medication with tirzepatide for probably decades to come. And I'm not going to go into all the wherewithals around that. It's just that there are sort of legalities around them having the patents, and if they can prove, like they are, that there's new responses and new sort of pluses for their drug, they can release new patents on this, stopping any other companies coming in and supplying Mounjaro in a different form. And one, I'm not clever enough to explain all that to you, so I'm not going to go too deep down that sort of rabbit warren. But the research is out there if you wanted to look at it. But it's a good idea now, and we're being forced to look at maybe alternatives if it does become too expensive. And like I say, we don't know exactly what that cost is going to be yet. But at the same time, we need to not give up. We all need to just be as positive as we can. I've had loads and loads of responses to this in my inbox recently, as well as all the normal comments, which I'm struggling to get round, to be honest with you, but I do try my best and I'll always read them. So there are things that we need to look at now, aren't there? We're sort of our hands being forced, isn't it? And that will be in way of those that will try and go it alone without the Mounjaro and just have that positive sort of outlook. Maybe it's worth looking to see how we do when we come off Mounjaro and see how it is. Now, obviously, without putting too much of a dampener on that, we know that the research isn't good for when we stop Mounjaro. Most people put weight back on. But this is why we need to start thinking now. Now, if you haven't started Mounjaro yet and you're just starting or you're thinking about starting, this might be an absolute scupper, a spanner in the works for you actually starting it. The first thing that came to mind with me when I was reading all the articles yesterday and getting the messages back from people and looking at some of the other content from some medical professionals as well on places like YouTube and things like that, which isn't the greatest place to get the research because it's all people's opinion. And these people don't know exactly what's going on yet. But that said, when we talk about price increases, it doesn't tend to be any less than what's being reported generally, does it? Because it's almost like the news has been put out there to test the water and see what the response is. If they want to put it up 170%, then they're going to put it up 170%, aren't they? But we need to find out exactly what they are putting it up to, really, before we make concrete decisions about what we're going to do moving forward. But like I was sort of heading towards, really, the alternative could be another medication. And the first one that springs to mind is the semaglutide, the Wegovy's and those type of things, which aren't reported to be as effective as your Mounjaros. But at the same time, I've never tried Wegovy. I came straight on to Mounjaro. Now, I have a brother in Australia, and he's just started his weight loss journey. He's on Wegovy, and he finds it okay. I don't really talk about the channel that much with Russ. We only talk every now and then because obviously he's the other side of the world from me. But we had a good chat before this news came out, actually, last week. And he was on Wegovy. He gets on well with it. He's lost, in a short space of time, a lot of weight. He's doing really well and he feels good on it. So there may be options out there. Now, don't forget, I'm aware of some people that have tried Wegovy, totally failed. It doesn't work well for them. But this is the same with Mounjaro as well. So I think don't write anything off just yet. But this doesn't mean we have to go to another medication, does it? My thought processes were always, when I come off Mounjaro, what will my lifestyle encounter? And it's always been about changing my outlook on life. And that's what I've tried to document with the channel right from the start. If you could see me, I mean, I even sound different. I looked at that video last week and I'm not going to show it again because it's awful. how I looked on my first video to now. No, I'll put it up because it helps. And I look at myself back then, and that helps me. This is why I think the progress pictures of other people and people that have sent them in has really helped. It makes you realise what you can do. Because if you'd have showed me, before I started this journey, a picture of how I could look and how I could feel before, if you could look into the future, I'd have been like, oh, I don't believe that. Honestly, I couldn't see me losing the weight that I've lost. And this miracle drug has helped that. But it was always only going to be a stepping stone to a better positive mental attitude going forward. And I'm hoping that that is the way forward for me. I'm not ready for it yet. I'm not ready to come off the weight loss injections yet. I don't know how long I can afford because we don't know yet. And I'm sounding a little bit repetitive now. So let's not jump to conclusions just yet. The other thing that's been picked up on a few people, and I saw, and I've even been offered the medication, sort of black market, sort of, I've got some that I'm not going to use type thing. And this is a massive no-no. If you're in a position where you're not going to use your Mounjaro, you really shouldn't be selling it, because you're just leaving people wide open to all sorts. I saw there's someone selling Mounjaro tablets on Facebook, and we don't even have Mounjaro tablets yet. You can actually buy a tablet on a well-known retailer on the internet, probably the biggest one, that perceives itself as Mounjaro. The way it's labelled, people think it's Mounjaro, and I'm hearing a lot of people saying, oh, I've got the oral version, and you haven't, because it's not out there. So just be really careful what's out there, because this is a time now that we're all going to be really open and susceptible to people just trying to pull the wool over our eyes. There is no alternative to Mounjaro apart from a different brand altogether and a different type of GLP-1. So there is no one else that can supply you with Mounjaro apart from Eli Lilly, and we know what's going to happen with Eli Lilly. Yes, the prices will go up, and we don't know what that is yet. Just be really careful where you're buying it from. Only buy it from online, reputable pharmacists that are licensed to sell it, and it's got to be the real thing as well. So really do your homework around that one. What I must say about, if you do think that you're going to move over to something like Wegovy or another weight loss medication, always speak with your doctor, the clinician that you've been under with your journey, whether that be an online prescriber, which isn't great because the information that is passed between us and them isn't always fantastic. But do it the right way. It's like people like me that are microdosing. Always tell your medical minder, your medical expert, your doctor, your physician, GP, what you're doing with it. Don't just go off and do things on your own. Yes, we're all adults and we make decisions, but what I do on here for me in the way of my split dosing is something that's discussed at a medical level with people that know my background and they know my medical history, which I've shared most of it with you anyway, like high blood pressure, which is better, and hyperlipidemia, high cholesterol, which isn't great, but it's getting better. And yeah, Mounjaro is really suited because of the benefits that's been proven in the last 12 months to do with the cardiac side of things, in how it works in our body. And these are the sort of things that help Eli Lilly prolong their patents when they come up with new research that shows, oh, our drug also helps with this. That prolongs the licenses for them to keep hold of that monopoly. That's generally the way it can work. So that's something that's not going to help for people that might want to come in and start making their version of Mounjaro officially in the future. That's when it would get competitive. But this is how these big pharmaceutical companies work. But let's try and be positive, because people are really worried and scared to death out there of what the future holds. Let's not be too downhearted just yet, because we don't know for exact what's going to happen. So let's move on. We've got a few things to do now. I'm going to do some measurements for you like I've promised. Then we'll do the weight, and then we'll have the competition winners. Okay? And tomorrow, all being well, I'll do a little video on the jab for the people that like to watch the jab videos and see how I click the pen and things like that. And for those that are just starting, which good luck with your journeys to all of you. So let's do some measurements anyway. So let's stand up for my up-to-date waist measurement. Well, we'll do waist, chest, and we'll do the thigh again because I haven't done it for months. And the reason why I hadn't done it is basically because the progress seemed so slow. And when I'm putting it out there to try and show my journey, show my vlogs off, and try and motivate people by doing this, really I should show the rough with the smooth, shouldn't I? So apologies for not staying updated with this, but let's do it now. I can't remember the last time that I actually did the measurements. It's been months, but let me update you on exactly what we had before, and I'll have to read off the computer, which is down here. So the starting measurements, my waist was 49.5 inches. My thigh was 29.5 inches. And my chest was 46.5 inches. I didn't start measuring my chest right at the start. I sort of added it in. And in hindsight, really, I wished I'd done everything right from the start, all the measurements, just to show the differences, really. And it sort of would have kept a good record of what we were doing right from the start. And some of the other channels I watch, people do record everything there, and I should have done that. But let's have a look at, let's start with the chest. Now I always do this on my own, I don't get any help, but I try and remember exactly what I did. I just relax everything out and let everything drop and get a true accurate reading. So we want to beat 46 inches, 117 centimeters, and here we are here. So we now have not a lot of difference actually, 45.6 inches, which is about 115 centimeters. So barely half an inch off the chest, and just under a couple of centimeters really on the chest. And not too concerned with that, to be honest with you, because part of the exercises I do is a lot of chest workout with the dumbbells. So I'm trying to sort of get some shape to my chest just to basically pick it up. But I can still feel some body fat here. So I know there's room for improvement there. Let's go for the waist. Waist was 49.5. I'm hoping this is going to be much better. So I always go around the belly button, let everything flop out. So as long as I beat 49.5, which I should do because I've been doing that. Still in the red, I'm nearly in the yellow, but we are at, that's better actually, 41 inches around my abdomen, which, oh, hang on, this is the side, so which is the male side. So there we go. Here we go. So yeah, 41 inches. I've literally got an inch until I'm in the yellow phase on here, look. So I've lost 8.5 inches off my tummy, 8.5 inches since I started, which is really pleasing to see, because the last time I measured it, it had really slowed down and it was just fractions every week. So probably not a bad idea to do it sort of less often, maybe. Let's do the thigh while we're at it. So I always did the right thigh up near the top, and we need to beat 29.5 inches, which is 75 centimeters. So if we go up here, now I've been doing a lot of leg work, just toning up and things like that, and obviously on the exercise bike. So I'm hoping this is going to be an improvement. Just let that relax. So from 29.5, we are now 24 inches, which is about 61 centimeters. So that is five and a half inches difference. That's huge. I know I'd lost a bit off there, but I thought my legs wouldn't lose that much. Now, we had a really, really good response to the competition, which I've just closed it. It's Saturday morning, so anyone from now on, unfortunately, won't be entered. But everybody that has entered and put the phrase in the comments, what was the phrase now? It was exercise bands MLT for My Life's Toil, and you will be in with a chance to win the exercise bands, these ones here. So because of the such good response, I've decided we're going to have two winners. I'm going to give two sets away because there's just loads of people, well over 100 people have entered, and everybody that got the comments in, members get entered anyway. Intermediate members get 2 entries. You don't have to be a member. It doesn't cost anything if you don't want it to, but as a member, you don't have to comment. You're just automatically entered anyway. That's part of one of the perks of being a member of the channel. Like I say, you don't have to be a member, but it's just nice to have that support. Thank you for those that are members. I've got a handful of my special bunch. But let's get on with the competition. Everybody that's entered is on my wheel thing here. So we'll pick out the first one now. I'll get in touch with you as best I can. If you notice before I do get in touch with you that you've won, just drop me a message or message me on the Facebook Messenger, where most people get me straight away, to be honest with you. But let's spin the wheel, see who the first member is for the exercise bands. Here we go. Good luck, everyone. Karen Hughes 6902, you have won a set of the exercise bands, and they will be sent out to you as soon as you can get in touch with me. We'll get that sorted, but we're going to have another winner. So both first prizes, exactly the same bands, because I can, and it's nice to do that. That's all it's about. So here we go. Let's do that again. So that's Karen. Let me just pop you to one side there. We'll do another one. Here we go. And the next person to win is Kerry Copeland 5641. Congratulations to you both. Get in touch with me if I don't get in touch with you first, and we'll get them. Got to get them first, but I'll get them sent out to you as soon as I've got them. So well done to both of you. But also time to update the weight, which I've already done this morning. So getting back onto last week was 99.5 kilos, 219 pounds, 15 stone, 9 pound. This week, exactly 99 kilos, so half a kilo off, 218 pounds, a pound off, obviously down to 15 stone, 8 pound. So my target is about 93. I think it's 93.1 kilo according to science. So I'm literally within a stone. So in stones, that's 14 stone, 9 pound, less than a stone to go, 205 pounds. So getting closer. It's achievable. It's getting there. It's obviously slowing down a little bit, which we expect. It's been a good week, as I say, eating wise. I'm on the 3.75s, which I will continue. Let's not get too carried away with what we don't know just yet about this Mounjaro business. There are options out there. I want everybody to stay really positive if they can. I know it's a difficult time because this journey is difficult enough, isn't it? So let's all stay positive. We'll keep in touch with each other. We'll G each other on. And for those that, not everybody that follows this channel and takes part in this channel are even taking weight loss injections. And I think it's probably time to really start pushing just a general being healthy and broadening the horizons about what we can do in order to get ourselves in a healthier weight range, become generally healthier in our lifestyles, and just be supportive of each other, because these hurdles come up that we've been discussing today. So let's not get too disheartened until we know what we need to be worrying about, and then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So stay positive, and I'll see you tomorrow for the jab if you want to watch. Otherwise, hopefully Wednesday with another catch up. But like I say, stay positive, but more than that, have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.